Hello, speaking Forex. This is Gregory. It's currently 9:57 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, July 16th, 2012. And I have a really good trade setup for you. Now keep in mind this is for educational purposes only. So right now I have a chart of the British pound US dollar. This is a 4-hour chart. Now this is one of my favorite trade setups. And let me show you why. We have an uptrend wall here, which I have highlighted in green. Okay, we have an uptrend wall, we have a downtrend wall, which is actually in blue, but that's not the crux of this particular trading setup. We have an intersection here, okay, of the two trend walls that lines up perfectly with the pivot area, and we also have previous support that turned into resistance, that turned into support, now returned into resistance again at 56.40. So we have all of these areas. What is that? 4 areas? 5 areas? I lost count. I mean, just so many. I ran out of fingers. But also we have the 5650, which is a half number, and we also have the Fibonacci retracements that line up perfectly at the 70%. It may go as high as the 79%. Actually, I prefer that it goes up a little higher at the 79%, because it adds more confluence with the half number at 56.50, but we don't need it to go that high. So anywhere between 56.30 and 56.50 is a very good selling opportunity with relatively low risk. Now, what are our targets? Well, we have all of these price levels converging pretty much within a 20 pip zone here. So we need to figure out a good way to get out of this trade, to exit this trade with our profits. Well, initially, my target is going to be around 5,500. It just really depends. My initial target is going to be this slope here, okay, this median slope. Price may actually go as far as the bottom of this trend wall, but I'm not going to anticipate that initially. I'll reevaluate once I get around that area, but initially this is my first target at 5,500. And the reason why I'm going to arbitrarily, I won't say arbitrarily, but 5,500 is a round number. We have a confluence with the median slope, but this is assuming that price is going to hit here within the next day, okay, by the end of tomorrow. Now, if price doesn't hit 5,500, well, it's possible. Let's say if it takes 2 or 3 days, let's say something crazy happens and we don't hit it until July 20th. As you can see, my profit target is going to change, because as as time increases, price decreases. Okay, because we're looking for an intersection of price and time. Now, the reason why this particular slope is really important, and it's going to get hit majority of the time. And we're also looking for convergence here too. So we have like a pivot number. Let's say the pivot is at 55.08. Then I'll take the 55.08. It doesn't really have to hit this particular line. I just want to make sure that I'm out of my trade. So the reason why this particular slope works so well is because if you guys ever studied the rate of change in calculus or physics or anything like that, you understand that when you take a function between two endpoints and you take the average of that function, then the rate of change will actually intersect that particular average. I know that sounds like mumbo jumbo, but if you think about it, it actually makes sense. I'll maybe do like a math video or something like that to really explain why things happen the way they do when you're studying the rate of change. In this particular case is price, because price is constantly changing. As you can see, the same thing happened here, where you take the average between the two points. Price eventually hits the median slope there. So that's what we have here, and that's what I'm anticipating. I don't really like talking about that too much. It's something that I do that I find, it's not necessarily proprietary, but I don't really find too many people talking about that, and Well, don't let me get on a rant. So anyway, so we're going to sell between 56.30 and 56.50. Our target initially is going to be 5,500 if we can hit it by tomorrow. If we don't hit it by tomorrow, we're going to adjust our targets every day until we actually hit the slope here, depending on the convergence of pivots and stuff like that. But initially, we're going to target 5,500. So we're going to risk about maybe 50 pips to make 125 pips. Something like that. Maybe even as high as 150 pips, just depending on your entry. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I will be posting updates as the trade progresses. If we get stopped out, we'll talk about that as well. My stop out area is above the 89% area, but that may change depending on the pivot areas for the next day, because if the pivot area goes a little higher, or if it drops or anything like that, then I can actually adjust my stops accordingly. But we'll talk about that when we get there. So there's no need to get into that right now. So that's it for the British pound US dollar. And remember, this is for educational purposes only. But thanks for your support, and thanks for tuning in. And until next time, happy trades. And I'm looking forward to doing more updates with other currency pairs as well. Take care.